I still got to update.
What up, everybody? It's gonna be different now. Yes, it's me, Davidson Crooks, one half of this Lock and Crooks Summer Sauce podcast. But today, we're doing a little something different. I am joined up with Dontarius on our Fast Break show here on IE Sports Radio. Dontarius, how you doing tonight, sir?
Everything is good, man. I just been sitting at home, looking at different things, watching different shows. Been on Call of Duty a lot. Been on my Xbox doing different things. So a lot of different things to do, man. Also getting excited for this Last Dance. A couple episodes tonight. What about you?
I'm doing good. I had to work today, so that's fun. But other than that, like you said, enjoy the go and watch enjoy these last two episodes before they they go on hiatus and just chill out and all that stuff. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, we here at IE Sports Radio, we are celebrating 6 years of broadcasting to y'all.
6 big years.
6 big years. Wherever you catch the shows live or you catch it, later on the day, whatever. For 6 years here at IE Sports Radio, we come up here, and give our time and love to y'all all over the world to give our, great opinion on the sports spectrum.
Yep.
And we greatly appreciate, Larry B to give us this platform to spread our, opinions and wealth of sports to everyone out there.
Yeah, that's very, very cool for him to do that. So we definitely, like I said, this is one of the best shows I've been a part of. In fact, this is probably the first that I've been a part of, being able to, we all pay attention to sports in all kind of ways. So we definitely appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, we definitely appreciate Larry giving us this chance because, we all as sports fans have our different opinions on different things. So, and we want a place where we can elaborate and talk about it so we can get other people's opinions. So, we do the podcast or we talk about different things that's going on. We love to hear you guys' feedback and talk about those different things that's happened, on our previous podcast. So, that's very, something I have a huge passion for. And it's really cool to do that. And, look for many more great episodes moving forward.
Yeah, and at the end of the show, we'll talk about, how we got into sports, how we got into podcasting and, how we got involved with IE Sports Radio. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But main topic today, The Last Dance was originally supposed to come out later on this summer, but with the pandemic going on right now, ESPN, took a took advantage. Can't get my words out. Took advantage of everybody staying home and released this documentary out, like cut it in half and then do the other 5 later on this summer. So far, D-Lock, what are your thoughts on this documentary and how well it's done. And what's your thought? What has anything changed about your opinion about Michael Jordan during all this and the other players involved as well?
I'm not gonna lie, I've paid very close attention to this documentary. I'm gonna watch it again. Usually what happens is I watch the episode and I wait a couple of days and watch, or the episodes and watch it again. But it it was very interesting. I don't know if it was a selling point or they were trying to get you to watch the show or many fans. You remember when Michael Jordan came out and said, "Well, not many people are gonna, like me after," or he was like kind of worried about how people are gonna feel about him after watching the documentary. Well, there's a lot of things in this documentary that is just, and we'll go over, over the show, that is just, like, wow, like this is what I didn't see this side of Jordan or see this side of him. Now, me, us as being athletes, one thing I realized is a lot of fans or people that pay attention to sports, they feel like what they see on the court, on the field, on the track, or anywhere on the course or anything, that is the athlete. They feel like that's the person at all times. Well, that's not the case. They have their personal lives, their personality. Some of them that show them in different areas. Like football, prime example. All you see is a name on the jersey, a number, and a helmet. So a lot of these times, the personality, a lot of different things that you hear about these guys. You got to really dial into their personal lives to see this. And this is what happened, during The Last Dance, going into talking about Michael Jordan's last year or, this year with the Bulls. So we're seeing a lot of how Scottie Pippen felt, how Steve Kerr felt, Jordan, how Dennis felt, Charles Oakley at some point. So Horace Grant. So I really feel like we're seeing the personality side of Jordan. We always hear Jordan. We're thinking about how amazing the basketball player he was, which he was. But now we're seeing the personality side. Now, the personality side should not make us decide whether he's a great basketball player, right? We do see LeBron giving and doing all these different things for the community and all that stuff, but that doesn't let us know that, or that doesn't make us determine whether he's a great basketball player. What he does on the court determines that. So I don't look at him any different, but I do see that he's not the same person off the court. I see him as a different person, not necessarily bad, all bad, but you could tell that he was a different human being, and he actually was human. A lot of people, I think they had a quote saying that he was Jesus in sneakers. So, that's not necessarily the case now. Without these sneakers, without him on the court, he looks more human now, and that's what we're seeing through these documentaries.
My takeaway so far, about the man and, the man outside the court, and you probably heard this too about stories of Michael being ultra competitive, not just on the court, but outside the court, with, he loves gambling. That's been well documented. Golf, just whatever, he's involved with, he's real competitive and whatnot. And you kind of, if you not read stories before about Michael Jordan, then all this stuff kind of be like a surprise. But, if you kind of kept up with the story, beforehand, you kind of knew some of these things, but you didn't know what kind of light that Michael will let shine, because, he's very protective of his image, which I think you probably agree with. My thing with Michael, and all this is like, he get almost, I mean, not saying he could, but he almost can get almost away anything he wanted to. You see like teammates get mad at him and stuff like that, like the Horace Grants or Scott Burrell or Who's the one that went to the White House when Reagan was in office? God, what they
You about when they won the title that year?
no God, who's the one that won 3-point contest for the Bulls?
Not Steve Kerr.
No.
Not Luke Long. You're not talking about Luke Longley.
No.
Not Ron Harper. Could have been Ron Harper.
Oh God, who else was it?
3-point. Let me see. What year was it?
Like late '80s, early '90s, like that first run. And then they went to the White House, and Ronald Reagan was the president. He gave Reagan a letter, talking about minorities and stuff like that, and black people and how they doing them wrong. And he was never seen again in the NBA. God, what was his name? I'm looking it up right now.
I'll look and see what team we talking about because I'm. It's a name that's popping up, but 3-point shoot winning contest for the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Played with Jordan. He had to be, and that mean on top of that mean he had to really disappear. He had to disappear from the NBA big time.
Craig Hodges, yes, Craig Hodges.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
he definitely disappeared then.
Yeah, Craig Hodges. Him and Michael don't speak, which would you can like. You see the tone in this documentary, like a lot of guys want to speak out against Michael, but they really don't want to because they won't be, cut off from him.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
see, the thing is, it just seems like, it before this documentary. Well, I think even after, most of the part, people still have respect for him. But remember, like I said, the quote was Jesus and sneakers. Like, people thought that Michael was this, even in the documentary we see it, they thought Mike was just this perfect guy that never did any wrong. Like, and it was perceived that way because of what he did on the court.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean that people during the 90s or during his playing time thought that way, because more of his personal life was going on, around that time. So, but it's just like they were so amazed by the things that he did in the 80s and the 90s that that's all they talked about, right?
Yeah.
We're still wearing his shoes right now. So kids, I'm 30. I was born in 89. So I didn't really probably get really paying attention to basketball, maybe 96, 97, maybe 95, around there. Kind of knew what was going on. So around that time, Jordan was on his way out. Or the Jordan that we're talking about was already kind of in the past. So when people are telling me about Jordan, they're talking about him. A lot of what I see is either on watching his games or what people tell me. So the generation right now, is okay. Well, yeah, we hear about Jordan, but they don't talk about his personal life, right? So they talk so much about how great of a basketball player he is. Think about LeBron. LeBron is one of the greatest basketball players ever. And we don't see a bad personality from him right now. So when you take a Magic, a Michael, a Larry before us, your first thought is, okay, well, they were this great basketball player. We didn't hear anything negative about their personality, so they must have been good to the community. It must have been this great person. So now, when you hear that, now you have people that don't necessarily speak with him, but I'm pretty sure when it came to doing this documentary or people asked about him, they would have stayed away because they know that now you're going to show the real side of Michael Jordan. Well, the side of Michael Jordan off the court, which is very interesting, and which is, it teaches us a lot about, how this person is. So that's what I really like about this documentary is showing us how was he off the court. And like I said, me as an athlete, it like, you see how motivated or how dedicated this guy was to, perfecting his craft. So, but yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing, man. A lot of this stuff is to have people that don't want to be involved with talking about him. they rather just stray away rather than put their input in.
Yeah, and I agree. With I'll use LeBron's example. Like you can see, like if teammates talk about him or stuff like that, or etc., that those guys often get gone. You know, for any team LeBron's involved in. You know, and I think those guys back in the day, were compared to Jordan, they kind of recognized that as well. It's like, well, you know, if we say something wrong or we're trying to, take him out, whatever, then management would have the first have us out of town first train smoking.
Yeah.
So, you know, my other thoughts and stuff like that with this documentary so far, it seemed like a lot of unhappy guys, so to speak, and you know, to Michael, to Scotty, everybody else involved, Phil, Jerry Krause. There's no happiness. I mean, they're happy that they won and stuff like that, but there's no happiness, being, within the group. Is that like something you caught, or maybe that's me?
I feel like it seems like the more I watch this, that Jordan just had a huge impact on everyone around him. And you said who again?
Scotty, Phil Jackson is like it's like no happy. I don't know how to say happiness, but it's just like
Happy, yeah,
it's just like no real camaraderie, so to speak.
yeah. I'm thinking that like they connected, but it seems like back to what I was saying. It seems like Jordan was the driving force of all of this, right? Like
Yeah,
he knew at some point that Scotty was who he was. Like you can see, I mean, they practice every day. They see and they have chemistry. Like it's not just these. A lot of times as fans, we see people just get on the court or get on the field, and we think that it's just okay. Well, robots, right? They get out here and everything is just clicking on all cylinders. No, these guys be around each other probably damn near a lot, maybe almost 12 hours out the day. So they know each other's, know each other. They know everything about each other's personal lives, everything. So this was somebody that Jordan knew that he could win titles with, and knew that he could move forward with anyway, or be great with. Remember, he even said in the documentary so far, he said, you talk about Michael Jordan, you got to talk about Scotty. So I think that may have blindsided the fact that Phil Jackson and Scotty was kind of not on a great connection. But also another thing is the fact that Phil knew how big of an impact that Michael Jordan was to his success. So he knew that okay, well, this guy is ridiculous. Like this is one of the greatest players ever. Well, he can be. So what he needs, whatever he needs, is what he will get. Right. So if I have to work with Scotty or Oakley or Luke Longley or whoever, that's what I'll have to do. And that's what made Phil Jackson the coach that he was, or a great coach as he was, because he did the same thing in LA. Can't really tell you how big of a relationship him and Shaq had, but I can tell you that him and Kobe had a pretty good relationship, right? So it's like Phil was just this, and I think that's the big deal about this whole. If you think about this whole documentary, started off by how the Bulls kind of disrespected Phil by starting him off with that 1 year deal, or that that one deal to say, okay, well, it doesn't matter if you're 82-0, you're not going to be coaching here.
That was stupid.
Yeah, come on, that's like a low blow. So, to me, you can't really see the not so much of good camaraderie or connection with Phil and Scotty, but I think it was also blind to the fact that Scotty and MJ were just a great connection together. Like you can see it, and it just seems like they were with them two together, everything was going to move forward, regardless of if, once they put them two together, now you can add a Dennis or you can add a Luke, Horace Grant, all these other pieces. But these two are the team, these two are the players that's going to move everything forward. And it's like Phil Jackson knew that. So any kind of, it's kind of like he not necessarily tolerated. I need a higher word than tolerated for Scottie Pippen. He had a decent relationship with him, but not the same kind of relationship he had with Jordan, if that makes sense. Like he, like he was kind of like, okay, this player is, one of the, I can, have a decent relationship with, but the person I need to be really close to is Jordan. And you can see that.
Yeah, and the Phil Jackson, the 1 year deal type of thing with Jerry Krause was doing, that was like really silly to do. But kind of like a butterfly effect. That didn't happen with Phil, and him not stepping away for a couple of years. He may not took in the Laker job and been there with Shaq and Kobe for the three-peat. So a lot of things that that they did is kind of like affected the future and stuff like that in a sense. Kraus, trying to kill the team. I don't say kill the team, but kind of want to rebuild things and stuff like that. In which Jerry Krause gets a lot of hate in this documentary because Michael really, 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 really don't like the guy.
Yeah.
And the thing about with Jerry Krause being dead, he really can't defend some of the things he tried to do. That's one thing I think this documentary probably would have as missed on. Jerry Krause being alive, kind of defend some of the things he done. Like the proposed, trades that they trying to do with like the Seattle Supersonics with Sean Kemp, or trading, the Toronto Raptors for their pick to get Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
And
this is one of the best documentaries that I've ever seen when it comes to a player or a team. I think one advantage that it does have is there's so many episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a series like the Patriots. They need to have a documentary where it's like something similar to this, or the Lakers at some point. They need to have a documentary. Wish they could have a documentary that's similar to this, so we can look at insight and see compare, because this documentary is giving us a lot of things that we just did not know, or people before us did not know. A lot of these trades, these different, like the biggest thing that I'm still kind of stuck on is the fact that Scottie signed that deal for 7 years, $18 million.
Yeah.
To me okay, we hear the million. You hear a million after anything, we know that's a lot. But at the same time, when you hear the 18 million, then you know what Michael was making during his 7-year, $18 million contract. It's like, what? So, and it's the fact that, come on, I ain't gonna lie. Like 7 years, 18 million, and you start to learn that that's not a lot of money. And Scottie is playing on the level that he was playing. I can see why he had issues with the front office. Why he, I'm saying, like he had, a couple issues with them, or didn't sit right with them on a few cases. So this documentary is showing us a lot of different things. And the great thing about it is these are things that, honestly, I think a lot of fans, us as fans, would love to hear, because somebody wins a title, we want to say, well, dang, like, we hear about the big three, they got a great relationship, but that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, we hear about Shaq and Kobe at some point. For the longest, if you just watch their games, you would always think they had a great relationship most of the time.
Yeah.
Until somebody come out and say, well, or you hear, well, Shaq and Kobe didn't have such and such a great relationship. Okay, well, why the hell did they not have a great relationship? What the hell happened for them to not have? So now you got to dig in and find out these different things. And I think this is what this documentary is doing. Because even with that Krause dude, I remember from what I'm seeing so far, dude, like Jordan used to be getting like him. Jordan and other players used to be just throwing shade at crowds like all the time.
Mm-hmm. And we never know, to the extent of their relationship. And with the Ryan Sorf, even to this day, well until recently, till they changed out their management with John Paxson and Gar Forman. You know, they're very loyal to their people who they have in front office. And Kraus, at the helm, they felt loyal to him, and Michael could have sold him to from here to Tokyo. The Ryan Source, they still gonna ride for that dude. And and to talk about the Scottie Pippen deal, for me, for about Scotty's deal, I think to me his agent should have looked out better for him during that time and trying to
Mm-hmm.
maximize his worth. And Scotty shouldn't have been in a rush. He should recognize his value better. And you know, I know we know the story about Scottie Pippen being a poor kid from Arkansas and getting that first chance of money and whizzing away. But you gotta know your worth. You know,
Yeah,
and
I
Scott.
mean, you gotta know that. Um, I do think that what did play a part is the fact that he got hurt at one point, right?
Yeah.
So that played a little part in guaranteed money and all this other stuff. But um, dude, like I'm not gonna lie, like you're a professional ball player. Like you're gonna see money that you probably haven't seen in your entire life before that. So I don't know what kind of conversation fully that was had before this contract was signed, but it was some kind of urge to where, hey, let me get this guaranteed. You hear $18 million. A lot of people understand that. They hear the 18 million and they think they're taking home 18 million. When in reality, at some point, it's a hell of a lot less than that. So now, like I said, it's not stooped down to 500,000, but there's a lot of money that is taken out of that. So uh, his agent could have did a better job. Um, I don't, I don't know, man. 7 years, 18 million. That's just mind blowing to me. And then I even looked at the fact that when he went back after he was in Portland, they didn't pay him that much hell then. So they still ain't respect the man. I mean, he was a little older, but still, like, damn, like the man was on all these other teams. You could at least break the man off what he did in the past. So, uh, but that's he made some decent money at the end now. But
Yeah.
it's just the fact that we're talking about, come on, dude, like 7 years, like you're barely making like that's no way, like no. So you're not even making over 3 million a year, barely making over 2 million,
And
barely.
and that's when the time where like in NBA contracts they offer those 7-year deals, and you can't. I mean, you can't fault the player taking that long term security, but in the same breath, like I said, you got to recognize your value and all that stuff.
Exactly. So it's that stuff is huge, and one thing I'm pretty sure you remember is when Jordan said, he felt like uh, he felt like Scotty was being selfish. Dude, I was like, what are you talking about? You feel like he's being selfish, but you're making a hell of a lot more than what he's making.
Yeah.
So you're saying that he's selfish. Let's if as the quote says, let's put the shoe on the other foot. If you were making that 7 year, 18 million, you wouldn't be the only person that would be making these claims of being bothered. All the fans would be asking the front office, why the hell are you paying Jordan 7 years, 18 million? So, but I don't know, man. But like I said, that's one of the things that kind of you hear. It was like, what? Like when I heard that, I was like, you serious? 18? Like, huh? Like it just that was shocking to me.
And then, if you like just look around, like some other deals around the league around that time, like, damn, dude. I mean, I know some of y'all guys talk about y'all salaries and stuff back in the day, but you gonna do better for yourself?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But for him to take that, it just, who came up with that idea? Now I'm pretty sure when you see all them zeros on that contract, you ain't looking at anything else, especially if you've never seen that kind of money. But that time goes by and you're looking at what everybody else check getting, they going to these different places and making buying all these expensive cars and you can't afford this and that and some of the stuff that you want to do. You like, dang, okay, it looked like a lot at first. It's not as much as I thought.
I did want to ask you this though. What do you think about like Jordan still holding grudges to this day? Mainly against like the Pistons and whatnot, but what do you think about him holding that grudge? With the Pistons, Mahorn, Lambeer, Isaiah, and crew. Do you think it's kind of justified, or do you think you know they should make up? I won't say make. I won't say make up, but because Jordan and Isaiah really. I mean, weren't they tight to begin with? But it seemed like when the issue of the Bulls and stuff like come up, Isaiah kind of feels some type of way with it,
Yeah.
and so does Jordan. And Isaiah Thomas being a Chicago kid, you know, it's like the city had like a love hate for him. Like, yeah, he's one of us, but we like, but we love this guy right here too.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, when it comes to that competition side of trying to win these titles, people getting in the way. No matter what they do to get in the way of what your success, it's gonna bother you. And you would think at some point, hey, okay, this is what this was. We're we're gonna get over it or talk it out. I think a lot of people do that, but it was that serious. And I think that's the comparison between the NBA now and the NBA, back then. You can see that these teams did not like each other. Like there's no question in your mind. Like there's clearly, and I don't think it was just the NBA. It was in all sports, right? Football. You know that Bears and the Packers did not like each other.
Yeah,
You knew that. Like there's no question in your mind.